Well, what do you know? Reminiscence is still going relatively strong, as in 50,000 downloads strong, combining the numbers from CurseForge and Modrinth, of course. That is insanity. Once again, I have to give a round of thanks to absolutely everyone who decided to play the pack, make content out of it, or contribute to it in some way. This project would not be anywhere near where it is right now without any of them or any of you. Thank you all so much. This community is something I not once ever expected to build, and words cannot explain how lucky I am to have all of you. Through this project of mine, I have had the opportunity and pleasure to meet some of the most incredible, most creative, and most friendly people I've ever met online, and I will never take that for granted. Every second I interact with all of you is just amazing. So again, thank you. I hope my projects bring happiness and act as a source of inspiration for any projects that you may wish to make. But if you're wanting some general shoutouts, I've got you covered on that as well. Shut up, Discord. For those who are a fan of this project, be sure to give everyone I mentioned some props, as they've contributed to this project in one way or another, no matter how big or small the contribution is. Imlodziak, I think is how you pronounce that, is the one who made the alternative Reminiscence trailer, which, unlike the one I've made, emphasizes showing over telling. That trailer also got more views than mine, which I'd say is deserved, to be honest. Plus, he's one of the minds behind the Alloy Smeltery add-on, which provides extensions to progression related to mining. For wanting to shake up your experience, I recommend you give it a try. Gives more use to like your stockpiles of ingots and whatnot. Tomo is not only one of the minds behind the Alloy Smeltery add-on, but has also provided the resources for the optional texture pack, which makes Aether tools consistent with vanilla tools. Roxanne has developed a mod which properly forces innate enchantments on tools and armor sets, meaning I won't have to rely on Craftweaker or Cube.js to do that for me. Plus, it makes it so enchantments that are not at all intended to be in the game are booted, so that's always a plus. Artemis, or Moon, provided textures for Alex variant zombies and probably makes up for about, like 75% of the suggestions for him on the Discord. Even if not everything from those gets added, it's still very helpful, and a lot of it did get added anyway, so. And now I'll dedicate an entire section to some more people who've made content on the pack. Is Kevin, Bandit Hideout, Luke Yaps, Pond Girl, Sherlock Bones, Rubber Duck, Friend A, Cooler Frund, Robos, Caspa, MX Vixen, Pixelated AC, Highcraft, Omega Mercenary, Surfer Goliath, and, most surprisingly, Call Me Carson. I wish I could name everyone, but unfortunately I know a few people are gonna go unnoticed, so if you don't hear your name here, but you made content on the pack, you are equally as cool, and I thank you for taking the time to make content on the pack. So, it took a long while for the next major update. Not only was finals week grinding my face in the dirt, but I also went back home for winter break. But then what happened was, I relied on OneDrive to transfer my files like an absolute idiot. I never had any issues with OneDrive before, but then the one time I really depend on it to transfer my files to my laptop so that I can do any work on the mod pack, it's like, nah, screw you. You want to be productive? So that sucks. It did, however, give me lots of time to work on textures and whatnot since I had Paint.net on my laptop, so that's good. That's fine. But with that out of the way, what exactly is new? Well, for one, Cork and Upgrade Aquatic have been added, tweaked, and betafied. I've also added a few smaller MC Abnormals mods, but that's in this upcoming patch, which may or may not be out by the time this video is finished. Cork, I'm sure, needs no introduction, but in case you aren't familiar with it, it is a massive Vanilla Plus mod, which has tweaks such as inventory sorting, reach around block placing, automatic replacement of broken tools if you have an equivalent in your inventory, and much more. And on top of this, it adds many vanilla-like blocks, items, and utilities. This includes the likes of brick types for blocks such as cobblestone and sandstone, soul sandstone, raw ore bricks, crates and sacks for foods, many more compressed blocks for materials, framed glass, stools, and many more things which would take forever to describe. Thankfully, betafying this mod wasn't too hard, as it comes in with a built-in programmer art pack that brings together all of the old 1.12.2 Quark textures. However, this of course didn't touch the new stuff added in modern Quark versions, so I had my work cut out for me. Regardless, I think it makes a solid addition to the pack. On top of this, we have Upgrade Aquatic, a mod from MC Abnormals, which acts as an expansion to the 1.13 Aquatic update. This mod adds many ocean-related decorative blocks, such as coral types for every color, and the ability to turn these coral types into dye, so easy source of all dye colors. Kelpie Cobblestone, 2 new wood types, Coral Stone, new flower types, glass doors, and trapdoors, new food options, and more. But of course, this goes without saying that I was also graciously given much better betafied textures for these mods by the Holy Trinity, the Father, the Son, the Holy Spirit, Dr. Bro moment. This man right here, just look at these textures, look. He's been doing this for like 5 years and can casually whip up textures that are a lot better than anything I could do, so just appreciation, pure art right there. Incredible. Now that I've discussed all that's new, I think it'd be cool if I discussed a few plans I have for the pack. For starters, I am adding the mods Immersive Weathering, Caverns and Chasms, and Cinderscapes. All 3 of these mods will come in separate updates, we'll have smaller content mods added alongside them, and will be tweaked and betafied, as per tradition. But outside of just more content, I also want to make the base vanilla stuff, and the already existing modded stuff, as good as possible. I've recently added tooltips for all foods, which actually highlight what kind it is, so players will know what to expect upon crafting them. I would also like to add some tips, not only on the loading screen, but also in-game using EMI, kind of like how Farmer's Delight and Quark make use of it. Little stuff like that that'll hopefully lower the barriers between these mods even more, and just make everything a little more intuitive. Then I'd also want to give some uses to some very underutilized materials. So for example, phantom membranes, echo shards, amethyst, and the many new materials added such as opal and titanium. If anybody has any ideas for these, feel free to let me know in the comments or leave a suggestion in the Discord. And the last plans I will be discussing are plans that I've actually been working on since, well, every single patch. And that's improvement to the end, or the Voidscapes as it's called in Reminiscence. Again, I won't spoil the main content inside of it, but I'm wanting it to be the Black Mesa Zen to Half-Life Zen. Excuse me. Whereas in Vanilla, you enter the end up until you get an Elytra and then leave. There will be many resources which fuel incredibly powerful utilities that'll incentivize you to keep coming back to the Voidscapes. This content will be weird, and how well it fits Vanilla may be questioned, but based on the journey you go to get there, the rewards will be constant. And finally, I want to throw out a few ideas I have for plans after Reminiscence is considered complete, which yes, will happen sometime in the future. I think the pack will eventually be in a state where I think extra content will actually hurt it more than anything. Eventually, all niches for material tiers will be taken, all possible utilities will have been added in some way, and all resources will be considered useful or more useful than it was. And once this happens, I would like to move on and focus my efforts on something else. So here's a few ideas I have for that. First idea I have is a pack which applies the general design philosophies of Reminiscence to a modern Minecraft aesthetic and gameplay loop. But the more I think about this, the more this just seems like it'd be a standard Vanilla Plus pack, which is something I want to avoid. The Vanilla Plus market already has more than enough packs going for it at the moment. And then, second idea I have is a pack which applies the general design philosophies of Reminiscence to the Silver Age of Minecraft, which I think is defined as the versions between Beta 1.8 and Release 1.8. In all honesty, these versions of Minecraft are what I'm most nostalgic for. Even if I think the gameplay loop of Beta is overall better, in my opinion, I can't lie, there's so much charm in this era. The more muted colors, the new mobs, XP, hunger, villager trading, All of this stuff is iconic at this point, even if I think many of those systems aren't exactly great or the most fun to interact with. So I want to know what I'd manage to come up with if I were to do a Reminiscence style mod pack for this era. Third pack idea I have is a Terraria styled mod pack with major material progression, exploration, and boss progression. I also want to combine this with the idea of a world having limited width, kind of like in-dev versions, but with unlimited depth. I don't know if that's ever been done in a pack before, but I'd love to play with that concept. I'm imagining it right now, like, as you get deeper, there's more stone types other than Deep Slate, which requires stronger pickaxes to break, and the mobs get harder as you go deeper, but at the same time, you're exposed to more rewards, such as maybe material tiers, which are stronger overall. Then don't even get me started on the equipment that you can get from bosses. I don't know, I want to give a pack like that a shot. It seems like it'd be fun to play and fun to make. And then the last pack idea I have is an apocalyptic tech-themed pack with escape and run parasites as the focus. This was actually my first attempt at a mod pack ever, but it was far too ambitious because at the time I knew nothing about tech mods, I knew nothing about escape and run, and I knew nothing about making a proper mod pack. But now that I have more skills after making Reminiscence and Kill the Parasites, I think I can properly do this concept justice. I wanted to make it so these eldritch horrors actively dropped resources that you can then process and turn into better materials used for making guns and more machines. And over time, as you augment yourself and gain better materials and utilities while the parasites evolve to try and stop you, the game will shift over time from a Resident Evil-esque survival horror to a Call of Duty-esque tactical shooter to a Doom or Ultra Kill-esque boomer shooter, and then finally to a pure power fantasy middle finger to balance. This will be a pack where the tech and the combat actually go hand in hand, and your machines will actively serve you for more purposes than automation. I don't know, it just feels like every single factory-esque pack, the machines are just for the sake of getting more machines, more power, more automation for you to do who knows what with, but with this, you actually have a practical purpose for the machines. So those are the ideas I have at the moment. Let me know which pack you'd be most interested in seeing after Reminiscence is finished. I'm curious to see what you'd think. With that being said, that's about all I have for you at the moment. I shall see you next time I decide to whip up a script. See ya.